Hello, everybody, and welcome to 240p Club.
We're back. It's been a while. We haven't been behind the microphone in quite some time, but that's okay. It's back. It's better late than never.
It's been a while, and I did not miss you 1 second of that.
I'm sure you didn't.
I miss you every day that I don't see you.
I know. You miss one podcast, and all of a sudden...
Exactly. One becomes... I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you've missed one podcast.
And then it feels like forever.
But you're back.
I am.
And in case you didn't notice, we have some new theme music, and Miss Deanna has done a killer job. The song's called Blue Shells. We didn't really get to acknowledge it last time because I received the theme music after we recorded, so during the editing process, I get a nice surprise alert that the theme music has been recorded, done, and it has been awesome. So kudos to Miss Deanna for putting a killer tune to record there. It's called Blue Shells, just in case you wanted to know that.
Oh, yeah, she did a wonderful job. Definitely.
Absolutely. Anyway, we're the 240p Club. We're back, and we have the OG 240p Club in the room tonight. I'm Metallic Joe, of course, and you just heard from Nikki. And, of course, we have the OG maestro himself here, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes. All right. Anyway, we were doing a little meeting here for the 240p Club. As you noticed, the space-time continuum is back to normal. Everything we screwed up the last few months is completely put back. EA still sucks. Nintendo still rules as a company. And GameStop is completely failing.
I mean, as a former GameStop employee, it's like... Wah, wah, wah.
I mean, I see why they're failing. Like, they have a CEO. I don't know his name. I was just reading a few articles today. Like, literally, I was just really hungry. It's my one day off all week from work. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I was going to get some Chinese buffet. So, of course, I head to the Chinese buffet. The Chinese buffet is closed for renovations. I didn't even know. I just walked by. It's boarded up. They're renovating. There's a dumpster outside. They're doing all kinds of wonderful whatever. I don't know. But that sucked. Anyway, there's a KFC across the street, and I haven't had KFC in so long. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to go have some KFC. Got my 3-piece and a biscuit.
It's been some time since I had KFC myself, so I think let's keep it that way. It's a little too heavy for me, but...
Yeah, I love it, man.
But I'm sure it was good. I'm sure it was great.
Oh, it's delicious. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, that's beside the point. But I'm literally eating by myself there and scrolling through articles and bunch. This is the second one I seen this week about the eventual demise of GameStop. GameStop looks like it's on its last legs. Official numbers came in. They were well below sales levels for, like, projected sales levels. I don't really know how business works like that. I just know that they're in the red, and their CEO is blaming lack of a new video game system coming out for this winter's and, well, fall, winter, Q4's lackluster performance, let's just say.
I would say, like, he's kidding, right? I mean, I understand that, you know, the PS4, the Xbox One, the Switch, they're a little, I mean, I wouldn't say they're older, but, like, there are no new systems coming out, and I understand where he's coming from.
Well, let me ask you something here.
Mm-hmm.
PS5's coming out, and obviously, with gaming hardware, you don't download that off the internet. You have to literally buy a new piece of hardware. So if you're going to get a PS5 or a new Xbox, whatever it may be called, the Xbox 2, I don't really know. Or, you know, let's just say, hey, Nintendo comes out with a new system next year, which I doubt because they're riding high on Switch. They're Switch-tastic right now. Let's put it that way. But are you really going to go to GameStop if you have a Best Buy, like, right there, or, like, a Target, or, I don't know, whatever you buy your video game systems at in the UK, or, you know, Europe, or wherever you're at, Australia, you know, if you're buying, like, a video game system, or even, why not, you know, Amazon. 3 days, you have it, or 2, depending on if you have Prime or not. or you head down to Walmart, or you head down, like, you get what I'm saying. Every one of these stores has a video game system. They have the exact same video game system. You're not buying a special video game system from GameStop, although it may or may not be new, depending on what kind of shady GameStop you're going into. But that's GameStop. But are you really going to waste your time trying to go to GameStop just to buy whatever overpriced bundle they're offering?
I mean, personally, I do shop at GameStop because it's the closest store it's the closest store near me. It's walkable. So that's really the big draw for me is convenience.
But if you had a Best Buy near you, would you bother?
Yeah, I would probably go to Best Buy.
Exactly. And that's one thing GameStop is failing to realize. Like, back when they were like a combination of a few different companies. I know it's EB Games, Electronics Boutique, back in the day, and Funko Land was one that became whatever. They all merged together, and it was like one giant conglomerate after a few years. So, we have GameStop now, and they've aggressively expanded to just about every corner of the globe. And it didn't really work out for them because nowadays, most software is either downloaded through the virtual stores and just basically you have a local copy, or you do still head to the video game store, pick up a physical copy, but you won't head to specifically the GameStop because all these other stores have just as much a selection now as GameStop does. Also, I don't know, when's the last time you walked into a GameStop? What was your experience?
I was actually in GameStop 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
I went to pre-order Street Fighter 5, not Arcade Edition, I'm sorry. What's the latest one now? What are they at now? Champion Edition?
Wait a minute. They're giving Street Fighter 5 the Street Fighter 2 treatment. You're going to put a Championship Edition, Hyper Fighting, and then a Super Street Fighter 5?
I want to say this is like maybe the fourth iteration of it.
Capcom just does not learn from their past. With
Fighting games. Not with fighting. I'll just say, I'm not going to talk shit on Capcom right now. They're at, the highest peak that they've been in, maybe, 15 years right now. But not based on fighting games. No, not at all. It's not the fighters. It's definitely not the fighters.
Well, let's just put it this way. Yeah, you walked into the GameStop, you just got X video game. What'd you think of your GameStop?
Last couple times I've gone into GameStop, half of it hasn't been games. It's been T-shirts, Funko Pops, anything but games is coming in there now.
Yeah, they're definitely going the Spencer's route.
Yeah, I noticed that. You know what? To be fair, they kind of have to, because if they just stuck to video games, it wouldn't have worked for them as long as it has, because the business has changed. The business dynamics have changed, which leads me to my next point. The last time I walked into a GameStop, I got two near me, actually. And actually, if you think about it, I got two near me from one distance. Then if I walk the complete opposite direction from my apartment, you go to a different GameStop. And there's also another GameStop if you take a quick subway. So I have in the vicinity of many different GameStops. And every time I've walked into them, it's been the same thing. It's basically, it's a little cluttered. It's not all games, of course. It's just a little cluttered. There's tags on all the merchandise. Yeah, the people behind the counter at the one were actually fairly nice. I mean, I have nothing against the staff there. I know people have horror stories where they stick to script where you have to, ask them for a used game, ask them for this, ask them for that. Did they pre-order? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a former GameStop employee here, Nikki can confirm all I'm saying here. But, the ones I walked into, I never had issues. I walked in, got my game, walked out. I prefer the physical copy anyway, but, it is a little cluttered, and honestly, it is dated. The whole concept just screams 2005 PlayStation 2. Because back when the PS2 was out and all that, everyone still bought physical copies. You didn't go to the store, the e-store and buy all this. Granted, you may have gone on Amazon and bought a copy, but, for the most part, you were heading to your local GameStop. In 2020, it's way different. Most people buy games online via whatever store, So GameStop is just a relic from the past that is going the way of Blockbuster, really. That's what the article said.
I think there's one thing that I can really say that I like about what GameStop does, and that's the, what do I want to say, the warranty. Like, the game warranties that they do. When I ended up buying Resident Evil 2 from Target, that was only because it was, like, $10 for Black Friday. And then I ended up buying Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I had to go back to another Target because they didn't offer the warranty. So I had to go through all these loops and everything just to put, like, a $5 warranty on both games. Whereas if I went to GameStop, immediately they would tell me, okay, do you want to put a $3 warranty on this game? Do you want a $3 warranty on that game? And every time I do, because I did have a game break on me where I did not have the warranty. And it really sucks because I had to spend another $60 on that game.
Oh.
So, yeah, I really do like GameStop's warranty policy.
I'll give them that. I mean, I won't bash it. But, again, these are all just, like, relics from a past. Like, the technology's in the past right now. Even though I swear by physical copies, especially for the Nintendo Switch, where I don't have that much space on my Switch to begin with. So, aside from a few games, which I bought, like, because of sales and stuff, anything I buy on my Nintendo Switch, I try to get the physical copy for because it helps save some space on my my card. The GameStops are going the way of the past. They are an outdated business model. They're hampered right now. Anchored, that's a good word. They're anchored right now by their past mistakes. Because I remember, actually, our live podcast a couple of years ago, we were talking about GameStop's dreaded, used sales program and buyback and a few other scandals that came to light and definitely shed a very unfavorable light on that company. But aside from all of that, GameStop's pretty much dead right now. So if I was the CEO, I would try to reinvent it. Like, the brand's dead. You got to just face the brand is dead. The parent company might not be. They acquired ThinkGeek. ThinkGeek's a pretty good line. Although, from what I understand, they're shutting up shop there, which was probably one of the stupidest things they could have done. Granted, I haven't bought anything exotically awesome on ThinkGeek, except for I may have bought a few Nintendo licensed mugs and stuff. And they have a few Mega Man figurines that were really cool. But granted, you have this license. You have all this merchandise. You sell Funko Pops at the store. You sell gaming merchandise. Stick with that. Eliminate the name GameStop. Just eliminate it. All these GameStops you have all over the place. Close half of them. You don't really need two GameStops within two separate shopping centers about half a mile apart. So, the overexpansion, it's like Starbucks. You just got to just start shutting some of these down. But then reinvent itself. You have all these spaces. You're a company that likes to expand. I enjoy having a few adult beverages at a place around here called the Barcade, which was a decent concept. Someone in Brooklyn actually came up with, hey, we're going to get this giant-ass garage that's been disused for years. We're going to hook up all of these old arcade games, charge $0.25 for them, and have a giant beer selection. So it's worked for them brilliantly. It's opened up all over the country. The same concept. It might not be the same company, but the same concept has worked all kinds of other places, including with pinball. And I remember Finland, hopping around bars in Helsinki. We wound up going to a place called the 8-Bit Cafe, which I'm proud to say is their GoFundMe campaign worked, and they're back in business. And yeah, congrats to them. I walked in there. They had an arcade machine set up with a whole bunch of arcade games. They also had a Super Famicom hooked up to the TV. The classic, the Super NES classic. The European version, obviously. So I enjoyed a brilliant beer. I enjoyed playing video games. Mind you, this was 2 in the afternoon, so we were just waiting for a flight at that point to go to the airport. So We just hung there, played some video games, had enough beers. It was a fun experience. I can see GameStop going this same route. You know, GameStop opens up a bar. Don't even use the GameStop name. Just use whatever the parent company is. Just call it something or other. I don't know. I'm not that creative. But CEO could think of a name. So just name that thing something, whatever, bar, you know, gaming experience. You have all of the merchandise they sell. You just have it like all along walls. You sell some games here and there. Nothing like spectacular. You know, and sell game cards too, just in case you want to just buy it and get the physical download. You know, gift cards for like the PlayStation Store, Nintendo Store, etc. So all the stuff, you know, some of the stuff they're already selling. But, you know, you have tables there. You have, like, beers set up, you know, like a bar area. You have, you know, people, you know, coming out to serve you. You can rent a Nintendo, you know, NES Classic or a Sega Genesis Classic. You know, you get a TV hooked up there, like, you know, just like a small TV at your table. You can sit there, play video games for a certain fee an hour. You can drink beers, you know, buy beers by the glass. You know, they don't have the stupid video playing every time you walk in there where they're talking and interviewing, who knows, like it's the fake interviews with all these like gaming people that you're supposed to know and all the previews and stuff.
GameStop TV.
Yeah, GameStop TV. Just eliminate all that. You know, all of a sudden, bam, you know, you're in a bar atmosphere. You know, you're renting out a Nintendo Classic, or you're renting out a PS4 or PS5 in this case, because this will be the PS5 era. So you're renting out a PS5, you know, they could cut a deal with Sony, specially licensed PlayStations. You know, you could go there, you could play, you know. You rent it for a certain amount, an hour, play all these games. You can have some beers, make a party out of it, have some fun. If you want to do an all ages thing, you could have like another place, like, you know, it's like a pizzeria, so, you know, pizza, soda, and juices, and et cetera, et cetera. And the same thing, like you have people come in, they could play PlayStation games, they could play all the newest games, and then, hey, you know, mommy and daddy, you know, are occupying their kids for a while their kids are playing all these games. They want to go home. They want these games, so they go home. It's like the arcade experience all over again, only you have modern technology there. I think this would work. Unfortunately, though, I don't think GameStop is intelligent enough to want to incorporate this into an actual reality instead of just concept on a podcast.
I love that idea. Honestly, I would go like every day if I had the money.
It would be fun, you know. I would do something like this. This is a great concept, but GameStop is still stuck in the Blockbuster mentality of, well, maybe if we just cut back, you know, and people come in for the nostalgia. No, I'm not nostalgic for a GameStop. I'm nostalgic for FuncoLand. I used to go into FuncoLand, you know, browser game selection and stuff, and that was fun. You know, 'cause they had the TVs hooked up. You can play the games. Granted, they weren't serving beer, obviously, because I was like 13, 14 when first FuncoLand opened around here, but, you know. Same concept. Go in, get video games, enjoy life. Basically, it was a cool store, and GameStop is nothing of the sort.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So anyway, this is nothing bad about GameStop. It's just, come on, dudes. You can come up with a better concept, you know, to adapt to modern times than what kind of shit you're still piling out in 2020.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about midnight launch horror stories.
Nikki, you were a former GameStop employee.
Oh God, I think that I think that's one of those like conversations, like a conversation starter where it's like, oh well, I was a GameStop employee. Oh, me too. Like you'll meet maybe like 20 people who say, oh yeah, I was a GameStop employee.
It's like you have a support group.
Oh God, we do.
I'm sure you have many support groups for former GameStop employees.
GameStop Anonymous. Oh my God. God, the kind of job that'll like make you drink. And it's like, the thing is, I love video games, but working a job like that just made me hate it so much. Not hate it, but it made me like, ugh.
Yeah,
games that I like to play, I like to play them, but like other games, I'm like, oh my God, sick of Assassin's Creed. I'm sick of Ninja Gaiden. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that.
Here's nowadays a lot of this is more moot because video game launches are done online. Although a lot of people still like to collect the physical copies, myself included, especially for the Switch, because my Switch only has so much memory on, I have the biggest memory stick, and it only has so much memory, to download all these games. So I go get the physical release, still. But to bring this back to 240p Club, back in the 1980s, even 1970s, hot new toy came out. Everyone had to get their hands on it, so there's midnight launches for certain things, especially around the holiday times, like Christmas and Hanukkah and everything. So people used to go to the people used to go to these super malls and toy stores and everything. Cabbage Patch Kids was one of the biggest prime examples of my youth. When I was a very little kid, I didn't want a fuck Cabbage Patch Kids, but I know a lot of people, that grew up with a Cabbage Patch doll. And
Not
their
me.
parents... Yeah.
No, I had a water baby.
Oh, yeah. I remember the glowworms, too. That's
Did not
another
have a
popular
glowworm.
one. Transformers, a new Transformer came out, kids wanted it. Obviously seen it on the Saturday morning cartoon. They're like, oh my god, I gotta get that toy. Look at that. I can make my own adventures. This. I think this is why kids were more creative in the 80s and 90s, but that we'll save that for some other time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I did have.
I'm not gonna go millennial bashing yet again.
I did have a lot of Ninja Turtle toys, but a lot of them were handed down to me from my cousin. So
I actually got a few hand-me-down Ninja Turtles, but I also had a few of my own. If I had a good report card, sometimes that was what I got.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
like I would go to the store, then I would get a Barbie doll, and then my brother would get a Transformers, and then we would have them play together.
So my favorite thing was, I don't know if anyone else does this. Hey, we're going on tangents again. Yes.
Yay!
240p Club to their tradition. So, anyway, my favorite thing was I had a bunch of stuff from Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters had a pretty good product line, too. I had the Firehouse from Ghostbusters. It was a great play set. And then, as a kid playing Ninja Turtles and Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, and seeing... I remember this, the Technodrome level, when the Stone Warriors smashed down the doors. I had a figure, I had the Ghostbusters Firehouse, I had the Ninja Turtles figures, and Rocksteady jump and smash down the doors, just like the arcade, smash one of the turtles. And, oh man, yeah, it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this required your parents or guardians or your well-meaning aunts going to your grandparents, etc., They go to these stores, they wait in line, sometimes there's fist fights, sometimes, people get little... We call it extra these days.
Extra.
It's a good way of putting it. They get a little extra, a little too hyped, and definitely want this toy. The older people are sacrificed, pushed out of the way to pick up the toy, and basically it's like a King of the Mountain here. So all this shit happened. Yes, all this shit happened with Nintendo as well. When Nintendo launched, it didn't really do this, but some of the games did. It was sold out almost everywhere. In the Super Nintendo, same thing, sold out almost everywhere when it came out. A lot of companies do this. They limited stocks. To make it more of an in-demand thing. It's been working since Apple, etc. But anyway, just imagine if you hate waiting in line for one of these toys / one of these video game systems. Imagine what the retail workers are doing, trying to stay out of the way of fights.
Oh my god.
So this evolved to GameStop, and obviously in modern times, certain games required midnight releases because they were so popular. People wanted to, this game came out at 12 o'clock, people wanted to be sitting in front of the console at 12:01 playing these games. And it doesn't really happen that way once you're buying a physical copy, so you still had to march your ass down to the store, wait in line with a few thousand people sometimes, and hopefully they have the game for your preferred console.
I mean, the way how they had it separated, they would have two separate lines where if you had your game paid off, you go in this line. If you had this game, or if you didn't have it paid off, say you had $10 more on it or so, then you would wait in another line and hope that they still have a copy for you.
Oh, dear lord.
Yeah, the last midnight launch I went to was for Mortal Kombat 11, and I have GameStop not too far from me, and I was actually going past it. It was actually at 9 p.m. because the location, they're not allowed to have stores open past 10 p.m. So
It was the next day.
I'm sorry?
It was the next day then?
No, Oh no, they had the midnight launch at 9 p.m. So we all picked up our games, I had my dinner, and from what I heard, NetherRealm was being contacted about people with early copies on Twitch, and they were getting their Twitch accounts banned. So I was like, I have the game now. It's 10 p.m. Do I really want to stream right now? And so I actually did. I did stream. I had a couple viewers, and I only did the first hour because I was really afraid of getting my Twitch account suspended. I really didn't want to go through the whole hassle of starting a new Twitch because I was like halfway to affiliate at that point, and I don't want to start over.
That's as a consumer in like modern times, though.
Yeah, it's more of a modern.
What do you think of? I don't know. You have a few horror stories about working GameStop.
Oh my god!
I know you didn't do too many midnight launches, if I'm not mistaken.
No, my boss and my coworkers really didn't allow me to do many midnight launches, and honestly, like, I appreciated it. It was mainly for safety concerns because, I think at the time I was in my early 20s. I must have been like 21 maybe, and I mean, it wasn't like I was 15 or anything, but still, 21 is, it's young, so they were a little concerned about me being in that area after midnight or so. And especially considering that I was a commuter, and because the bus ran so sporadically, they really didn't want me stranded there either.
Understood.
Yeah, but there was one midnight launch. I did work the Mortal Kombat 2011 midnight launch, and that went off completely fine.
What about Call of Duty? I know you worked Call of Duty one, didn't you?
I did not. No.
Not the midnight launch.
Not the midnight launch for Call of Duty, but the next day. And this is a funny story. So there was a show that I wanted to go to, and I had tickets for. I could not attend that show because Activision decided we were gonna put out Call of Duty a little bit earlier than supposed to, and I was a little bummed out by that. But working in a mall with a game like Call of Duty that came out, and it wasn't too long after.
So November.
Yeah, so it was a little bit before Thanksgiving, so it was just kind of kicking off the
holiday rush.
The holiday rush, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I believe it was for, and just.
Was there a lot of? I imagine there's a few fist fights.
I wouldn't say for that. There was people kind of like pushing and shoving, but the only fist fight game that I've seen people go like really crazy for was when Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe it was, came out. And in our store, we ran out of copies so many times we had to run to a store not too far from us, pick up copies from them so that we could sell more. And we had to do that at least 5 times because
it was that popular.
Oh my god, I can't even count how many copies we sold that day.
I know sometimes, your anticipation level coincides with your anxiety level for getting a copy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're waiting in line, and then the line doesn't move as rapidly as it should, so you start to get a little uncomfortable, and then, suddenly emotions start kicking in, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
And also because some of these stores weren't exactly equipped with any more than 2 computers and 2 game associates, so.
I know, dude, basically, you had something like that going on. It bottlenecks the line to the point where. Because I work, in the field where, we have to deal with that, and, fitting a few thousand people into four lanes, basically, which, is a good way of saying, for retail. It creates a lot of anxiety, and a lot of people get really upset, edgy, and unfortunately, some assholes get a little violent.
Definitely, yeah. I do remember another midnight launch. I think it was NBA 2K16, excuse me. And there was an unruly customer in there, and he was a little upset as to why there were 2 separate lines. One line was for a separate store, and that specific store that I worked at, and then the other line was for another store that we were having the midnight launch at, because the location that we had our store in couldn't stay open after a certain time. So our line was rapidly moving because we had already set up everything. We had the games, we had the receipts together, so you could just go in, grab your game, and
I'm
leave.
trying to picture this as like a pop-up store, like for the midnight launch, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, it was the GameStop location yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was like basically you all had it set up like a. I've seen this like pop-up stores like for certain things like some team. I've seen this in an airport, like some team won the Super Bowl, and they have a pop-up shop all of a sudden for said team, and that lasted like 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, and then this customer was getting a little unruly because he was wondering why it was taking so long and why people in the other line were getting their games and he wasn't. And, I had to calmly tell him, yes, you'll be getting your game. Don't worry, we're not shutting the store down. Everyone is leaving with a game tonight. So, and it's because I couldn't work the computer. There were already 2 people at the computer, and I would just kind of be in the way. And
so you were like the directing traffic, basically.
Yeah, like directing traffic, quote unquote bouncer. Because, you look at, I'm very small, so me being a bouncer is very funny.
Hey, you know a little Taekwondo, so.
Yeah, I'm a yellow belt in Taekwondo. But basically, I was just kind of using my voice. I'm like, be nice. Like, don't start screaming at people. Don't start screaming at the coworkers. They got nothing to do with this. You will have your game. Just give it, like, another 10 minutes or so. I want my game now. You'll get your game now.
This is, I don't know.
I've been...
Nowadays...
I've been impatient. When I say impatient, like, antsy about getting my games, too, but, like...
I've never actually personally been in one of these lines, so... I don't know. But I did have, like,
I haven't even started the Skyrim horror story yet.
Oh, no. Back in the day, I remember, when Diablo 1 came out, I was very hyped for this game, because, Blizzard was a smart company back in the 90s. When they released Warcraft, you could go on their CD-ROM, the expansion set for Warcraft 2, and they had trailers for some of these games, and it was cool. Like, it's basically like a little marketing campaign. The one that drew me in was Diablo, which it looked awesome. And back in '96, you're looking at this game like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. So, obviously I put it on my Christmas list. And as a kid, it's just like, hey, whatever, get it, So my parents did, got me all these games. And absent on Christmas was Diablo. My parents explained that, the game, where we went to buy some of these games, they have it completely out of stock due to the popularity of it. So you'll get it sometime in January. So I'm just like disappointed, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I understand, and I have all these other games to play. I could just imagine though, like, some kid, not getting this on Christmas, and then why did I not get this?
Oh God, that yeah.
So it's retail's like a tough gig. I know. I believe everyone in this world should be forced to, for at least a month of their life, work retail. You will get a better, complete understanding of humanity that way.
There was a kid I remember at I worked at like 3 different GameStop locations, and there was a kid who was upset that we did not have the game in the store that he wanted. So we were able to go on to GameStop.com and order the game and have it sent to his house. And the kid was so upset that we didn't have it, he started crying, and he wasn't, like, throwing a hissy fit or anything. It was just, like, little tears coming down.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for him. I ran in the back of the store, and I found, like, some pre-order things that were not picked up. So I think it was a Lego Batman, and I found some Lego Batmans in the back, and I found, like, a little plush of a Batman. And I just gave it to him. I said no one's going to buy this, and it's better in your hands. And it was just something,
just like
something nice to do, yeah.
Yeah, occasionally you get something like that, and then occasionally, like at retail, you just get someone that's just going to show up and be belligerent regardless of what you say.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
as a retail worker, was a retail worker, and now, like, I'm a sucker for these little kids. They're so cute. It's like I want them to have every game that they want, and I want to make their day.
I could understand that. It's just, Sometimes, you're watching the little kid, tears coming down, throwing a temper tantrum, and meanwhile his...
Oh, no, well, temper tantrums are a completely different story. It's like, if I see a kid crying, I'm going to try to help him. If I see a kid throwing a temper tantrum, then you're going to see... I'm not a mother, but you're going to see,
Auntie
Mommy
Nikki come
Nikki.
out.
Yeah, Auntie Nikki come out.
Auntie Nikki.
It's like, I'm going to say, hey. Like, no screaming. I see you start kicking the displays over, and you're going to pick them up.
You're going to pick every one of these up.
And you're going to put them back in alphabetical order. If I see Fire Emblem next to Resident Evil, that's a problem.
We're going to have words.
Yeah.
So what else have we been up to since we last gathered here for the 240p Club?
I've been going to a lot of conventions lately. I do some cosplay. I'm not going to say I'm like, this cosplay queen or anything like that, but I like it. I do it.
I still have video. We were talking about this. We never uploaded it. We should probably upload it somewhere.
God, please do. It's one of the best.
It was horrible filming, though, because... all right, bad backstory. Nikki as Virgil from Devil May Cry series.
Yeah, I get to be the evil twin.
Yeah, and evil as it is, she wound up at a convention in Philadelphia and wound up running up what is known as the Rocky Stairs.
In 5-inch heels.
Yes. And I'm impressed in this because she made it all the way up those stairs. Mind you, this is the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and not the Rocky Stairs officially, but everyone knows this as the Rocky Stairs. But we had she had me filming it. She ran up the stairs. Fortunately, her phone decided to fly straight out of her pocket midway running.
It wasn't in my pocket. I'm not gonna lie. It was in my cleavage.
Oh wow! So Nikki's boobs booted her phone out. It landed on the stairs. I'm trying to film her. She's still running, mind you. So I had to get the pieces of her phone. It works, by the way. And continue following her up these stairs, while she got way ahead of me. It was hilarious. She made it to the top well before I did.
I can't believe I made it, honestly. Like, I had that long-ass coat. I had those big-ass heels. And
you were carrying a plastic sword.
And carrying a plastic sword.
Yeah, it was impressive.
I'm sorry, her name is Yamato. Let's get this right. Don't just call her a sword. She's my sword wife.
Okay. We'll leave that in there unedited.
Don't talk about my wife like that, you big meanie.
That creates a lot of questions.
I have no answers for them.
Okay. All right. Philadelphia is not the only city you've invaded as a villain.
No, I brought the costume back for New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con is one of the most famous ones. Is at the Javits Center in Manhattan. I'm not sure when was this?
Oh God, I think it was the beginning of September because it was still warm out.
Okay. So yeah, in September. Like September or October. I'm not sure if it...
I have to double check the date. I want to say it was either early December or early October.
Okay, so we'll say fall. We'll say around autumn. Yeah, Nikki invaded New York Comic Con. Nikki, what did you see in New York Comic Con that is going to make our listeners here jealous?
Oh God. I have a very good one. Oh. I know all the secrets about Castlevania Season 3.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell any of them. I'm not allowed to.
Sworn by oath.
I am absolutely sworn by oath. But there was a panel about Castlevania Season 3, so it will definitely be on its way soon.
Oh, yeah. No, Netflix is already advertising it. By the way, Season 1, Season 2, great anime. It was... expanding the story of Castlevania 3 for the NES in anime form, and it is very adult-oriented. It is not for kids.
No, definitely not.
But what else did you see at New York Comic Con that is going to make some of our listeners jealous? And don't say cosplayers with beautiful cleavage.
No, but I did see a lot of really cool cosplays. I got to meet this cosplayer, Leon Shiro. He's a really famous cosplayer on, like, Instagram, Twitter, and everything. He's a very, very sweet guy, and we were hanging out for a while, and we just talked about cosplay. We just kind of talked about a little bit of everything.
So that's cool. I've had friends that done cosplays, and they've had kind of bad experiences with certain toxic, like, cosplay members of their community. Has like, let's just say some fake allegations were kind of brought to light, but it's always nice to see the nerd community in unification, you know?
Oh, definitely, absolutely.
Not at each other's throats.
No. I had those 5-inch heels on again, and I think by the end of the day, I was so exhausted. I don't even know how I walked back to the bus station.
Yeah, that's it's a little different. I've actually, if I recall, in Philly, you wound up changing out of that costume as soon as we reached the bar.
Yeah, because I had that costume on from, like, God, I want to say 1 p.m. till what time did we meet up?
I don't know. It was pretty late.
It had to at that point it had to have been like 10 p.m.
Yeah. It was fairly late at night at that point. So yeah, I can imagine heels are not fun to walk in.
Yeah, heels and leather leotards walking around like for about 9 hours. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm good there. I'm good. So what else did you see at New York Comic Con?
I did see a lot of exclusive figurines, like, I guess I don't want to call them figurines, but, like, statues, I want to say. Like, some Mortal Kombat ones. I know there was one of, oh my god, what's the guy from New Japan who just retired?
Jushin Lager.
Jushin Lager. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Jushin Thunder Lager.
Yep. Thank you, Jushin Lager. So, he recently retired, but they made, like, a special, statue of him. I don't know when it's coming out, but they had some exclusives, like, one was Mortal Kombat characters from Mortal Kombat 11. Some other ones were new Street Fighter ones. I think it was Sagat when he had just been released or announced. And then, of course, there was Fist of the North Star, and I think there was Kenshiro Fist of the North Star. And there were a couple new Dragon Ball Z ones that I got to see, and they were very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Another thing, Capcom has been promoting this game called Project RE, which is...
Seems like Resident Evil.
It's not Resident Evil. Let's get that straight. Just because it has a Resident Evil name on it doesn't mean it's Resident Evil.
Well, you can't just put out something called Project RE from Capcom and not expect people to speculate in this manner.
It's a bunch of my characters playing as... I don't even know what the hell it is. The line was so long I couldn't get in. But basically, it's like a survival. Obviously, it's gonna play like a Resident Evil game, but it's like you get to play with like generated characters in the Resident Evil universe. So you may run into some characters that you're familiar with.
That's cool. So, is it gonna be similar to like an MMO or?
I think so.
So that's gonna be interesting. Like, imagine an MMO set in a zombie apocalypse world.
I mean, I'll have to do a little more research on it. I could be completely wrong, but I do want to look it up. Like, I mean, the last one I played was 2, like the remake of 2, and that game is so much fun. And get 3 when it comes out, too. Otherwise, I met some really cool cosplayers. What else did I experience at Comic-Con? Oh my god, large groups of people. Like, if you're claustrophobic, I'm gonna tell you, right then and there, New York Comic-Con might not be for you.
Yeah, I've always seen the like one of the bus stations is very nearby there, so we always wound up like doing something in New York around the time of Comic-Con, but I never wound up going. So we always see the hordes of people trying to get into the Javits Center as we're getting off. Actually, one of the cool things, I seen like a little girl and her mom like hop up on the subway, and the little girl was dressed, I think, as a Jedi Knight, and the mom was like, you know, helping her with her costume. It was cute. I was like, oh, they're passing the nerd along, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I saw this is at another convention that I went to. It was I want to say it was Keystone Comic-Con. There was a girl dressed as, I think she was dressed up as Chun-Li, and she was just so cute. I was dressed as Melina, and we got into like a fake fight.
Aww.
And she beat me. She stood triumphant over my fallen body.
Aww.
It was one of the cutest things I've ever seen. I want to say she was Chun-Li. I can't remember offhand.
Well, we'll say Chun-Li for now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's awesome though. Like, see, it's a beautiful thing when you have people that grew up on all this nerd stuff and get to pass it along to their kids who are just as enthusiastic about it as, you know, the parents were when they were that age. So kudos to all the nerd parents out there making their kids' dreams possible and, you know, partially living vicariously through them.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I love seeing the nerd cultures passed down.
Yeah, we talked about the toxic parts of the nerd cultures through many different podcasts. Let's talk about the positive parts of the nerd culture. It's like stuff like that. It's like if you meet the right people at some of these conventions, it's like a camaraderie.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, with the cosplayer who I met earlier, that was actually the first person who I met at Comic-Con, at New York Comic-Con. He was like, you know, I would see his post on Instagram, I would see his post on Twitter, and he just looked like a fun guy. So, when I was talking to him, he was just as I expected, like, really fun, not stuck up, really sweet. How do I say? He was really, what's the word I want to say? Like,
Genuine.
Genuine, yeah, definitely genuine. Very, charismatic, that's the word I was going for.
Yeah. See, that's what I like to hear about the nerd culture.
Oh, me too, absolutely.
Now, Ray, what have you been doing since you've been quiet this entire podcast so far? I want to hear from you, man. What have you been doing the past few months?
Job searching. I lost my job back in August, and it's been rough trying to find new work, especially in this culture nowadays.
Well, it sucks that you're out of work. Like, we'll help you there. Any of our listeners, you know, may have any promising leads that Ray can do for some money. That does afford the opportunity to play a good amount of video games. What have you been playing that... I seem to recall you talking about beating something for the first time?
Yeah, just today I beat Majora's Mask for the first time. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
See, that's cool. What? How has that game haunted you over the years?
I wouldn't say it's haunted me. It's just something that, like, I got it for Christmas when it first came out and never got around to finishing it. So I told myself one day I'm going to take it upon myself to go and finish this game, which I did this past week. There's a couple other games I want to hit before this year is out.
Yeah. You know, that's always a fun thing, conquering, like, these ghost games from your past. You know, what other game do you have on the radar right now to beat that you haven't ever?
Well, continuing on with Zelda, I've never beaten Wind Waker. It was the same situation with that game, actually. I was too busy and never got around to finishing it.
That's my problem, like, lack of time. I don't really have time to play a lot of these games to hack through, but thanks to again, I'm going to cheap plug my Switch. I love my Switch. If anyone doesn't have a lot of time to really game at home, or, you know, spends a large amounts of times away from home, a Switch is a really good thing to have. But I've been playing through Octopath Traveler, and that was a fun pickup. I got that on sale during Black Friday, and it's been rewarding because it's like an old school Square RPG. Honestly, there's a few things that aren't as good as Square's heyday, but it's still like a really good old school RPG, and yeah, I've been getting a lot of playtime out of that, but we'll save that review for some other time. But yeah, this one's something I wanted to conquer, but, you know, it always feels good to, like, you know, dig through games from the past and finally conquer them.
I have some funny stories, actually.
I gotta hear this.
Okay, so I've been streaming some games on my own personal Twitch, and A Link to the Past was one of them. This is the time, like, the one time that I go streaming A Link to the Past is the one time that I have died the most times in this game that I have ever played this game in my entire life. Because this is the first time I've never played this game with a controller. I have always played the game with a controller, and I was playing with a keyboard this time. I made the most dumbest deaths that you could ever possibly see. I was falling off of cliffs. I was getting run over by rocks. I was getting hit by the tiniest little enemies. And I'm like, is this the first time I've ever played this game? Like, what the hell's going on? It was like just blue. It was like one really, really, really long ass blooper reel.
One of the first things we ever did for the 240p Club was play Legend of Zelda, and I remember we tried to get it working on the NES. We decided to give up and just do it through PC because getting it through the NES and everything hooking up, it just wasn't working for us. But Ray had his PC and was streaming off that, and we were using I believe it was an Xbox controller. Anyway, Xbox controllers are pretty awkward for 8-bit platformers and side-scrollers and just 8-bit games in general. So, whereas I did practice Legend of Zelda and played the shit out of it before we did our very first stream, just so I can beat it on air. Spoiler alert, I never did. Thanks to playing it with an Xbox controller, I died more than I died in that game in years.
One long ass blooper reel.
Hey, we had a few of them, I think, didn't we?
You want to tell everyone about the baby Yoshi?
They've seen the baby Yoshi. I've put that on a few different videos at this point. We kicked the baby Yoshi off a cliff.
Not we, me.
Yeah, right in the middle.
I will take responsibility for that.
Right in the middle of our Twitch stream, back when we used to Twitch, it was damn. Nikki just kicked it right off the cliff. And it was one of the most hilarious 240p Club moments ever. I think that's up there with Mel crashing the parachutes, basically going through the floor.
Oh my god, pilot wings, yes!
That was fun, and we had a few. Oh, man.
Let's not forget about all my gamer rage moments as well.
Yeah.
Mega Pause 2, anybody?
Oh, yeah, when you couldn't beat Mega Man 2. But you finally did beat Mega Man 2.
Yes, I did. I don't think I ever tried to fight Wily Machine without energy tanks before, which sucks ass, by the way.
Yeah. Just a recommendation when we do that again. You may want to practice too, because I know that's your weak point over there. But then again, I can't say anything because I practiced one and then I wound up dying the most on Mega Man 1, and actually that increased our donation pot, so it was worth it. But I don't, I have pride in my gaming skills. I don't want to die in video games on camera when I could beat them just sitting here.
If you think that he died and it was funny, you should have seen me. At least you guys beat a game.
Oh yeah, Mega Pause won. Well, it's safe to say, I think Nikki might have been hustling us all, because if she shows up for Mega Pause 3 here, I think we're all doomed.
I don't know about that.
She's a shark in waiting.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh man.
So, did anyone see that new trailer for the new Super Smash Bros. DLC character?
I have not.
It's, I'm gonna have you guess what franchise it came from.
Judging by the internet reactions that I'm seeing, I'm just gonna say they may have put was it Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem! Oh yeah. Fire Emblem Smash.
Maybe it's put a few hundred characters from Fire Emblem.
Another dude with a sword. Wow.
Oh boy.
Let's not talk about dudes with swords, okay?
Yeah, or swords with names.
Actually, no. You know what? I'm not going to say it's a dude with a sword, because it's actually a Fire Emblem MC, which is I guess they call them my characters. So there's a male version and a female version. Let's get this right.
Okay. So they got that covered, but...
It's still a person with a sword.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, the DLC character that I wanted also had a sword, but he's got more than a sword. He's got dual motorcycles, nunchucks, and he has gauntlets too.
Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about Dante. Who else am I talking about?
Of course.
Let me ask you, Ray. Who did you want in Smash?
Well, considering all the fighting game characters we got this time around, I was kind of crossing my fingers for Sub-Zero.
Ooh.
Ooh, he would have been fun. You know, I was also kind of hoping that Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes would have been in there. So, of course, another guy with a sword. Or Chrono Trigger rep would have been wonderful.
I don't know how involved they are with Square to get all of these people into it. So, Chrono Trigger is actually owned by a couple different franchises. I'm pretty sure they'd have to contact Akira Toriyama for that as well.
Well, they already have a Dragon Quest character in, so Akira Toriyama
He's
is
evolved,
fine.
yeah.
And they already have Cloud in the game, too, so...
Yeah, and that would be extra negotiations, but I think they could have done better. I know Nintendo is gung ho about their Fire Emblem franchise, and every other developer that's connected to Fire Emblem is all gung ho about that. But let's be realistic; they could have done more.
And also, let's not forget to mention that Ryu Hayabusa is one of the last NES heroes to be in the game, which is, it's not a licensing problem that's in the game because Koei Tecmo has a lot to do with Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers, and all that. So Hayabusa should really be in the game, honestly.
I think so. It's not a matter of people not recognizing them because they've put a lot of characters into these games that people might not offhand recognize, which is really cool of Nintendo to do this. But yeah, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden would have been a flawless addition to this.
Oh yeah, I agree, and especially considering that this Challenger pack was mainly characters who are outside of Nintendo franchises. Like, we even got, like, Terry Bogard, we got, I think we got Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie's in the game. You got Ken from Street Fighter, which is a really odd choice considering we already have Ryu from Street Fighter in the game.
Well, some people, like, back in the day, Ryu was a lot of people's main character, or Ken, because they acted the same exact way, mainly because they were the two original characters you could choose from in Street Fighter 1.
Yeah, that's why I was a little, like, confused about Ken's inclusion in the game. It's like...
But their stories are so intertwined, it's like, you can't really have Ryu without Ken.
You really can't, no.
Although I could have seen Ken as more a support character than a actual playable character.
Yeah, because I think they have, like trophy assists, or they have, like, spirit fighters also. Which, don't get me started on Spirit Fighters, because they came out with the Resident Evil pack for that, and I said, why aren't any of these fighters actually in the game? When are we getting Leon in a fighting game? I'm tired of Jill. I'm tired of... I don't mind Chris. He's okay. I'm tired of Jill. I'm tired of Wesker. I'm tired of Nemesis.
Yeah, it needs to happen, but, I have a feeling Nintendo is just going to keep pumping characters into this game. I don't think it's going to stop for at least a few years.
They have 6 more DLC characters coming out. They're coming out with Challenge Pack 2.
Yeah, so Nintendo's not done yet, so we're going to maybe see some of those characters. But it led us to some discussion because Super Smash Brothers is an awesome, awesome concept, basically, where all of these characters from all of these games, mostly that have to do with Nintendo, wound up in the same game as a fighting game. Now, it's inspired Square to do the same thing with some of their Final Fantasy characters and Dissidia and its sequels.
You got to wait till you get to the Dynasty Warriors fighter.
Oh, brother.
It's a secret mode. I'm sorry, it's not a secret mode. It's a special mode that's in Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. It's like a really corny Soul Calibur ripoff, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, that was one thing. I remember I was actually talking back in the day. Someone asked me my favorite GameCube games, and to be honest, the GameCube was not a system I played a lot of, so I really had to think about this question. And the first game that popped in was Soul Calibur 2, which featured on the GameCube. It was Link as a playable character, so maybe that kind of set the bar for that, because I think that came out right before Smash Brothers, the original, came out. So.
Yeah, that's always been the hallmark of Soul Calibur games. Like, I think since, like, the third one, I want to say, that they started adding guest characters.
Well, no, this was 2.
Oh, from the second... I'm sorry, my apologies. So, like, Nintendo had Link.
Nintendo had Link. I think the Xbox had Darth Vader, and the PlayStation had the Kratos.
No, it had what's his name? Heihachi Mishima from...
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, Kratos is in Mortal Kombat
Kratos
later
was in
on.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Kratos was in Mortal Kombat.
He was in Mortal Kombat 9.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Or
now.
Mortal Kombat 2011, whichever you feel like calling it.
Yeah.
The reboot. But that's definitely been a hallmark of Soul Calibur, and ever since then they've been adding. I think the next one after that was they added. I want to say it was either Enzo or Altair from Assassin's Creed. The latest one, Soul Calibur. God, I forget what number we're at now.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, just added Geralt from The Witcher, and they added 2B from Nier Automata. I want to say the game is called.
Yeah.
Nier Automata.
Nier Automata.
Automata, thank you.
No, yeah, those are. Guest characters are something that they're fun, and for the most part, most of these are out of canon. Like they just appear. It's not like it's going to be written into the Zelda timeline that for Link's appearance on Soul Calibur 2.
The one cool thing though was when they added Akuma to Tekken. Like at first, we were all like, when Tekken 7 first came out, and then they were saying, "Oh, Akuma's going to be in this game." Like we were saying, like, what the hell? Why? But they actually incorporated him in the story as that Kasumi Mishima had saved Akuma's life once, and ever since then he's been completely indebted to her. So whatever she asked him to do, he would do. So when I'm not going to say, I'm not going to spoil it. You've probably played the story mode. She said, "I want you to kill my husband Heihachi," and Akuma was like, "Absolutely, I'll do it." And that was one of the cool story modes in the game. So it was cool how they incorporated
so
him.
So they did incorporate it into
but they didn't do the other guest characters. So like Geese Howard was in the game also. He wasn't in the story mode. Negan from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Not in the story mode. Neither was Noctis.
Well, didn't Mortal Kombat franchise incorporate? I think Freddy Krueger was in at one point.
He was in the special edition, like the complete edition of Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, you see, with the way canon is right now, storylines and stuff, like a lot of these video games are very, very storyline driven, and if you have stuff like that, for the most part, most game designers just say out of canon, just designed as a bonus for their fans. So you don't have to really write a storyline for some of those characters, which, I mean, that's cool that they wrote a storyline for Akuma, but this also establishes that Tekken takes place in the Street Fighter universe, which...
They did establish that during Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah, which is very weird, unless, they do it a certain way. But see, we're talking about canon, whereas, a lot of times, like back in the day, we just wouldn't, like, some stuff would just get ignored. Just be like, nah, it's not canon. It's not part of the storyline, whatever, who cares? But, now we're talking about canon, so... But that does bring up an interesting question. What if some of our favorite classic games had crossovers? And I know hackers have been putting some characters in games they don't really belong in, which is cool as shit. I mean, I'm not going to lie, when Floon, wherever he is, brought over, the hack to Streets of Rage, where I was playing as the Ninja Turtles, that was fun.
My favorite one is the one where they put Bubsy into the game.
Bubsy in the Streets of Rage?
Yep. Complete with awful controls and everything.
Oh my god.
Now this I gotta see.
This sounds demonic. This sounds like something I don't think I want to play, but I do want to play. I can't look away.
It's the one thing you just can't look away from. It's like, now I'm tempted to try it out.
Oh my god, Ray, what have you done? You just put this idea in our heads to actually want to attempt this now.
You've created a monster.
Now you have no choice but to play a Bubsy game.
Oh, I played a few Bubsy games for research, as we were going to, back in our streaming days. I'm so glad we don't stream anymore. It's, just a side note, because, it didn't really turn out like we wanted it to, but you know what? We learned this. We're the new 240p club. Same people, new concepts, whatever. Anyway, but Bubsy was part of our research, and I vetoed that pretty quickly because
it wasn't.
See, Bubsy's an okay character, but they put the Sonic controls in there where he can overrun things, but they put it like if Sonic was on ice. That was about the controls. It's like if Sonic was on ice, it would have been Bubsy, and it was awful. But now he's in a Streets of Rage game. Someone hacked in, so I can't look away. But anyway, what other gaming characters would you enjoy in classic games?
I think I would love to see some kind of like Legend of Zelda Final Fantasy crossover. Like, somehow Ganon shows up in, or should I say Ganondorf, I'm sorry. Let's go with the Ganondorf figure first. Somehow he comes into one of the Final Fantasy lands and starts destroying that because he got banished from Hyrule, and okay, now we're going into fan fiction territory, but
yeah.
He's been banished from Hyrule because, Princess Zelda's like, all
Just
right,
as long as there's going to be no sex involved here.
no, there's no lemons here today. Rated E for a reason. Rated 18 for a reason, guys. I'm sorry. Rated M for a reason if we're going by the rules of fanfiction.net. Rated M for a reason. Anyway, so Ganondorf has been banished from Hyrule. He ends up in one of the lands in Final Fantasy. And let's do 4, just for the hell of it, because we got Cecil Harvey coming in, and Cecil's like, no. Are you kidding? I just turned to a paladin. You took Rosa from me. And now Cain betrayed me. Now I gotta deal with this?
But hey, but you have like 2 little munchkin wizards that'll help you out.
I mean, until they sacrifice themselves for me, but...
Yeah. But can you imagine, actually, I'm picturing this more in the Final Fantasy VII universe, but can you imagine, instead, the desert, you're expecting to fight Ruby Weapon, bam, no, it's Calamity Ganon.
Oh my god.
Yes, and you gotta fight Ganon, and he's just ridiculously hard to hit, and you have to acquire, like, the Triforce to even fight him, and...
Can we just bring in Sabin so he can, like, just suplex him? Like, just a suplex loop for 24 hours?
Yeah, now we're just, like... Now we're just crossing over a lot of universes here. Stephen Hawking would be proud.
Oh, yes, he would be. You know what? Let's just add some more crossover characters in there. Okay, so now you got... I don't know. Let's just add Lubu in the game for no reason. No reason at all. And you have this little guy constantly running around. It's Lubu, everyone! It's Lubu! Run! I'm not gonna lie. He's so easy to beat nowadays, he's not even scary anymore.
Can we add Ryu Hayabusa to this, too?
Of course. He's a Dynasty Warriors character at this point.
So, we have a party consisting of Ryu Hayabusa, Link, Cloud, Sabin from Final Fantasy VI, and your other character from Dynasty Warriors, fighting Calamity Ganon.
But you know what? They're all under the Koei Tecmo umbrella now. There's a Hyrule Warriors. There's Dissidia was made by Koei Tecmo this time around.
The only license you'd have to snag is Square, and since we talked about Smash Brothers, they already have Square on board with that, but... this would be a fun concept for Nintendo to get all these classic games, blend them together, and create stuff like that. You don't even have to really have a storyline. Just, bam, all these universes got crossed, and then all of a sudden, you're fighting in the middle of the desert Ganon, Final Fantasy style. And then the next thing you know, you're Cloud, and you're wandering through level 8 of the original Legend of Zelda.
Don't give me ideas, dude. I love this.
Yeah, we can run with this. As a matter of fact, I've always wanted to see Mega Man pop up in a Sonic game.
Oh my god. Dude, that'd be great.
Instead of, Robotnik comes down, he hits him with whatever bolt weapon he has from whatever game. Like, we'll just say Elec Man's weapon. Just hits him with Elec Man's weapon, and then bam!
And then all of a sudden Zero comes out, because he's Zero.
This is...
No, this is me crossing different universes of the same franchise.
You're doing it again. It's like this. It's like,
hey, I got a creative mind, okay?
Yeah, but the same franchise, like all the Final Fantasies open up, just mass hysteria. Lightning appears in Final Fantasy 1. The Black Mage singes her. We don't ever have to play that fucking game again.
That's just Dissidia. You got Lightning and you've got Tidus in the same universe now.
Oh, is Tidus gonna laugh her to death?
Yeah, probably. And then he's gonna challenge her to Blitzball.
Millions of corridors. I'm I'm sorry. We've talked about Final Fantasy 13. We promised not to talk about Final Fantasy 13. We're over here talking about Final Fantasy 13. But you know what? It's because the universes got crossed, mass hysteria, timey-wimey, and... Oh, wait a minute. That was the last podcast.
We're not going to do that again?
Yeah, we already broke the time continuum once. Let's not have a repeat of that.
I mean, it just got more dangerous with me being here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Nikki would find ways to completely give the space-time continuum the cheese grater effect. Way worse than we ever did.
Oh, yeah. And the best part about it is I am very sadistic, so...
Let's move on so we don't give Nikki any more ideas to destroy our universe.
You really don't want to.
No, she's already got plenty, so... we've had to stop her supervillain style.
We could always just combine real life and Pokemon. Oh, wait, they already do that!
Yeah, funny thing, you will go through an airport and, some of the airport screening equipment has Pokemons.
Yeah, it's called Pokemon Go, which I'm actually currently mad at right now.
Oh, what spawned the Pokemon Go breakup?
Well, we haven't broken up yet, but I haven't played it in like 2 days. Basically, one thing that I used to do with it was get to a 7-game catching streak, and then I would be able to go into my menu and evolve my characters one by one so that I can accumulate more points. Well, they don't do that anymore, because as I was in the menu trying to evolve Pokemon while, or before everything could load up, they gave me the points already just for getting the 7 catch streak. And I said, oh, you kidding me? You changed the way how I get points now?
You've been nerfed.
I have been nerfed. Are you kidding me? And I guess, I don't know if it's something new, or if it's something that happened to me because I leveled up to 31, finally. But, I mean, there are some people who are, like, level 50, so that's, that's cool on them. Good. But I'm a little miffed about the XP distribution like that. I mean, yeah. I know it's a silly, petty thing to be upset about, but...
It kept you away for 2 days.
It did. I mean, honestly, I think part of me just forgot to open it up. I'm back in school now, so it's like, I'm really focused on that.
Oh, yeah. Well, Pokemon Go came, went, and still is here. I think Nintendo kind of dropped the ball with that one. Because 2 years down... Well, what is it? How many years down the line now?
God, we might be at like 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, almost 3 or 4 years of Pokemon Go, and people are still playing it as if it's new.
I mean, that's great. You got like groups of people who are doing raids and Pokemon battles. Like, even it's cold. It's really cold out here. So You still have groups of people who are huddling together and going to these gyms and beating these Pokemon who have like 1,000 HP or something.
See, that's awesome. That's, what a concept it was. Like, that was, I think that was mobile gaming's shining moment. I think it's Mario franchise, basically. Even though we do have a Mario game now for mobile.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies and I think a lot of games are going the mobile route.
I know a lot of old RPG brands. I know Capcom resurrected the Breath of Fire brand, but it's a mobile game in Japan only, and it's supposedly horrible because, they could pump these out pretty easily, and it's basically cash grabs. They're basically freemium cash grabs. Like, you play for a while, and then, hey, you need to spend real-life money in order to do something. Or, hey, your playing time's limited because, hey, you didn't spend enough money.
Like, currently, I'm still playing Fire Emblem Heroes on my phone, and I am so proud to say that I have not spent 1 cent on that game.
So that's good.
That's good. I can't, honestly, I mean, if some people really want to do it, like collect more orbs and to get certain characters that they want, that's cool on them. I mean, for me personally, I can't justify spending any money on a mobile game. Like, I got loans. I got student loans. I got books to buy.
And what do you really accomplish? Like, you pay, you get something cool, you get to do stuff for, like, it occupies you for, like, 10 minutes, and then what?
Exactly, because then say, okay, well, I spent $100 on, like, 500 orbs, or so. Okay, but I still didn't get the character I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm still summoning all these 3-stars. I'm like, I just spent 500 orbs on what? A bunch of 3-star characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we're talking about Fire Emblem, what if we mix together Fire Emblem with Disgaea? Could you imagine the curb stomping that would ensue? It would be totally one-sided with all the level 9,999 Disgaea characters going up against these swordsmen.
Now, which era Fire Emblem are we talking? Are we talking Awakening? Are we talking Fates? Are we talking Three Houses?
I've played the Famicom version, the original, and I've played Awakening. So I guess I would go more with the modern games, since they didn't really introduce the triangle system, I think, until later games. I mean, you got to have some advantage somewhere.
So you have these characters that are, level 9,999, but then you also have like some high-powered characters in the Fire Emblem series. I figure gameplay balancing, they would find a way to make them about even, but...
Yeah, they would have to, because if they do like any kind of bad balancing, or if the game isn't up to par, we have a WWE 20 situation.
I don't think it matters anyway, because even if Laharl does get defeated somehow, he would just blow up the whole world anyway.
I'm going to leave this topic with inspiration. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my lifetime, and this has very little to do with video games. I remember back in the mid to late, I believe it was closer to the later 90s, maybe like 97. This is just theory. I think it was 97, so don't sue me if I have the date wrong. But, Marvel decided that they were finally going to work with longtime rival DC and put out a series of comics about universes getting crossed. Now, granted, universe got crossed for a while. People fought, DC villains fought some Marvel villains, and it was all the dream matchups you can think of. I think Wolverine went up against Batman or something like that, and It was awesome. They had a few side stories there, and then eventually, the universe is fixed, and all the DC characters phased out of the Marvel universe, etc. And obviously, this isn't going to happen with the way the current movie franchises are and current licensing and everything. But for that brief period in the '90s, we got our dream matchups. This is what video games could be eventually. I remember I was absolutely stunned to see Sonic and Mario in the same video game at one point because of the bitter rivalry Sega had with Nintendo back in the 90s. So when we talk about stuff like this, it is awesome to think about the possibilities and to think about all the things that we could be seeing. But, we don't because licensing and everything. But it gives podcasts like us a good reason to chat your ear off for a few minutes about dream crossovers. It's awesome.
I love it.
See, that wasn't so hard, was it, getting you all together for a podcast?
It was horrible. It was torture.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, dragging you away from whatever you were doing.
No, I just didn't want to see you, that's all.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I'm not very visitable.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I'm so out of the way here, I know.
I'm lucky I had the money for gas with my employment situation.
Yeah, I hear you. But, we could have you record your parts at home,
Yeah, we can do whatever we want with the magic of the internet.
Absolutely.
Which means I could have just gone on Skype and did this. I didn't have to see you. Oh, wait, I would still have to see you.
Yeah, you would on Skype. I'd be making funny faces in the camera.
Exactly. So I'm screwed either way.
Yeah, so you're foreseeing us. So you might as well be here, get fed and enjoy recording in the same room as we are.
Because I haven't seen you in so long and I missed you so much.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while for the 240p Club. We say this every so often. This seems like to be the theme of the 240p Club. It's like, okay, we're going to record 3 or 4 podcasts, and then all of a sudden we don't record for a few months. It happens. It's weird. I don't know. I don't have a scientific explanation for this phenomenon.
I don't either, honestly. I'm taking a statistics class right now, so maybe I can do some kind of statistical report on why we don't meet, but...
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to, I'm not going to bullshit our audience. We're going to try to fix it, but we'll see what happens.
Don't worry, I'll make it happen.
Yeah, it's not going to be a few months before our next podcast, too,
I mean, I'm sure we'll find some kind of crazy new video game story to talk about with all of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we had a few good ones in this podcast, so
I hope you enjoy them.
I did. Well, our listeners have to kind of enjoy it, don't they?
Well, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to our audience.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm in the room, so you got to clarify that. You're talking to me or you're talking to the audience?
I'm talking to everybody.
Okay. I'm people.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, people. So if you came here expecting our Legend of Zelda Timeline podcast, we put it on hold for the next one while we can get Zach over here to entertain us, because Zach has been fiending. He's been on 2 podcasts right now, and he's been fiending to talk about this. So we really do want to get him out here to talk about this again.
Yeah, I feel like it's not complete talking about Zelda without him.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing it the last time we sat down to record, but again, it wouldn't be right without you, because you're the resident Zelda fan as well. So
it's me.
It's Nikki.
Oh, I believe Ray wanted to say something to all of you.
I was going to say the same thing you just said. So.
Oh, that I was the resident Zelda fan here?
Yeah, we all have Zelda fans.
We all are.
Yeah, but you're like, you were the big resident Zelda fan, talking about all the games. You played Ocarina of Time for our wonderful viewers when we had a Twitch. So it wouldn't have felt right without Nikki. So Nikki, Zach, me, and Ray will all be together talking about the Zelda timelines, I think, the next time we sat down to record.
I agree. I think that's something we should do.
Yes. It's something we research, something we're passionate about. It's going to be good. We have plenty of fun things coming in 2020 here. This is our first podcast in 2020, so we've spanned almost 4 years now. We went from 2016 recording to today, which is this is January 2020, and by the time this podcast is going to be up, it's actually still going to be January.
And it's still going to be really cold to bundle up.
Absolutely. But for this year, at the 240p Club, we're going to have quite a bit happen. We're going to do some long-discussed plans we've been putting on hold because we just never got around to it. We're going to dive headfirst into it now. And, expect some good things from us. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, this has been another recording from the 240p Club. If you're out there, I'm Metallic Joe. Cheers.
I'm Nikki. Au revoir.
I'm Ray. See ya.
Till next adventure.